everybody. So today is the day where I usually, on occasion, do rants. Truth be told, I don't very often have rants, but I do have one for you today. So a bit of, I guess, background, and this is something that I've talked about in the past, but when I came out as asexual several years ago, I was lucky enough to have such great people in my life. I didn't have anybody telling me that I couldn't be asexual because it didn't exist. I got nothing but love and support, and I know how lucky I am that that's what I got. So because of this, I personally have never experienced any discrimination based on my sexuality. Now I know that plenty of people have dealt with other people's negative reactions toward their asexuality. I follow asexual pages on Facebook and blogs on Tumblr, and I know that there are plenty of people out there who come out as asexual and aren't as lovingly greeted. They get the usual "you can't be asexual because it doesn't exist," or "you just haven't met the right person," or things like that. That's just complete and utter bullshit. So I know that these things exist and these problems exist, but I just personally had never experienced it. But then there came a time a few months ago where I was filling out a profile on some website. It was one of those websites where you fill out surveys to get money, basically. So I was filling out this profile and the question of sexuality came up. And there were 4 options, and I might show a picture here if I can find it. I took a screenshot, but that was a while ago, so we'll see if it pops up. But those 4 options were homosexual, heterosexual, bisexual, and prefer not to say. Now when I first saw this, I kind of stopped. Again, I had never personally had anyone tell me that asexuality wasn't a thing, but then here it was, staring me in the face. And at that point, I was tempted to just leave this site. And I suppose ultimately I should have, because I've never been back since that moment. I ultimately went with prefer not to say because it was the only one that was at least somewhat accurate, although not at all, and just kind of went on with my day. But in the back of my mind, that experience, that instant of proving to me, even though I already knew it to be true, that erasure was a thing, was just kind of there. Because here's the thing, none of those answers were correct. I'm not heterosexual, I'm not homosexual, I'm not bisexual, and I sure as hell wouldn't prefer not to say. I am damn proud of who I am, and that includes my asexuality. This is just a really clear indication that we as a society still have a long way to go. I think it's absolutely fantastic that the survey did include bisexuality as an option. Because I know that bisexual people have dealt with erasure just as much as those of us who aren't heterosexual or homosexual have as well. But there's also a lot of sexualities that are still being swept under the rug, as this clearly indicates. People seem to still want to believe that there are only 2 sexualities. Like, the people who made this website were saying, okay, we can accept that there's more than 2, but more than 3 is just ridiculous. But it's not. Sexuality is complicated. Sexuality is confusing, and the fact that you're still trying to confine it is infuriating. I'm not going to pretend like I am an expert in sexuality in any way, but I know who I am. I am asexual, and I am proud of it, and I am not going to let some website tell me that I would prefer not to say that I'm asexual when it's wildly untrue. We need to do better, and I acknowledge that more than likely I am currently preaching to a choir. I feel like the only people who are going to watch this video are people who already agree with me on this aspect, but it's still something that I really feel like I needed to say. As I mentioned in my last Project for Awesome video, when I was growing up, I truly felt like there was something wrong with me because I wasn't experiencing sexual attraction, and it's such a big part of society. And I don't want other people to feel that way. I want people to feel comfortable with who they are. And the way to do that is just to acknowledge that there's more to sexuality than just 3 options. And again, I know, preaching to the choir, but this is just something that's been on my head for a while, and I really kind of wanted it to get out there. Thanks for watching, and I will see all of you